a quick formatting tutorial for our streaming software. So whenever you open Wirecast and whenever we're importing all this stuff, we want to make it look uniform and formatted all the same. So sometimes this week wasn't bad, like there wasn't anything specific on this week, but I've been meaning to do this for a long time. So whoever did it this week did a great job. Sorry, just to clarify. But with our text boxes, with the lower thirds, what we want is a space here and a space here. Sometimes we'll look through, and I went in and edited these, and so sometimes we'll have it like this, where there's no space at the top and there's a space at the bottom, and it's just kind of like the text. It makes the text harder to read because you don't have as much buffer between your eye and whatever's going on the camera. And so the other thing about that I often see is like whenever we have it like this, there is a space here where you can see the camera thread running through at the bottom. And so we want to make sure that we don't do that, that we try and make it clean all lower third. And then even whenever you see this white line here on the edge, if you go here to the live shot and you look here on the stream, sometimes that leaves here you can barely see a tiny sliver of space where it shows the screen background. And so like right here it's not super noticeable, but whenever it's white down there, then it's like black, white, and then the edge of this shot. So we want to try and make that as clean as possible and as uniform as possible. So what I recommend doing is just making it a tiny bit bigger where the white bar disappears, and so you don't see that. So what we'll do is we'll just tiny bit bigger, and then I'm going to make sure it's in the center, make sure the white line at the bottom doesn't show, so that way it's not spaced like this where we don't have a little bit of that peeking through. And so that one is good to go. The other thing is with our verses, I know those can be weird because we have giant chunks of scripture that we're going through and stuff at one time. And so like here, one of the scripture references for this week is Psalms 111, 2 through 7. So what I did was I split that into 2 slides just to make it a little easier on the eyes. And then because of where it breaks, it was kind of weird. So I just kind of did it more as the sentences or as the verses would be. So this is probably verse 2. I haven't actually looked up where the verses begin and end, but it's like this one's probably 2, this one's probably 3. I'm not sure if this is actually 3, 4 or what, because it's got the ... dots. So I don't know what was cut out. And then same thing for this, like, you know, if you're looking like 4, 5, 6, 7. Just so that way there's a little bit of spacing. The other thing I did was I removed a quote at the beginning because since we're saying that it's a verse here, you don't really have to have the quotes, especially since we're splitting it between 2 screens. It just makes it cleaner if you take that off. So down here at the bottom, I'm going to do that too and remove that last quote. And then the other thing is making sure that all the spaces are taken care of. So right here between all, you can see that there's 2 blank spaces. So I'm going to back that up and to make sure that it's just 1. Those are little tiny things, but it just helps it look so much cleaner and more uniform whenever we make sure that we're shooting for this instead of something like this. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all about trying to put our best foot forward and work with excellence. So those are little bitty things, but I just wanted to make a quick tutorial so that way everybody can be on the same page and we can look for those things to just raise our game a little more.